Have you ever felt like just when you're starting to grow, certain people in your life seem to pull you backwards? Do you find yourself drained after spending time with those who should uplift you? Have you noticed a strange pattern? How the people closest to you seem to know exactly where to strike when you're at your most vulnerable. If you're nodding right now, you're not alone. In this video, we're diving into a topic that often goes unspoken, but can deeply affect your personal development. How negative spiritual energy can come from your own friends and family. You'll learn 5 powerful signs to look out for, and what Stoic philosophy teaches us about guarding our inner peace. Before we begin, if you're serious about becoming your best self and protecting your spiritual journey, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Here we build stronger minds, resilient spirits, and a life rooted in wisdom. Now let's get into it. 1. They target your peace. One of the most subtle yet consistent signs of a toxic presence in your life is the disruption of your peace, especially when things are going well. You've likely experienced it. Just when you're gaining momentum, focusing on your goals, or starting to feel truly centered, someone appears. They show up with drama, crisis, or chaos that demands your immediate attention. These disturbances rarely come at random. They're timed, they're strategic, and they're draining. In Stoicism, peace is not simply the absence of noise, it is a state of being. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote often about maintaining tranquility amid the storms of life. He understood that inner peace is something to be actively protected. It is a precious asset, not something to be handed over to the emotional demands of others. Disruptive individuals often carry chaos like a badge of identity. They thrive on reaction, not resolution. The more centered you become, the more your peace challenges their narrative. It makes them uncomfortable because it reflects what they lack. So, instead of addressing their own issues, they inject turmoil into your life. This isn't just inconsiderate, it's a tactic. When someone is always calling with bad news, picking fights out of nowhere, or involving you in problems that have nothing to do with you, understand that they are using your attention as fuel. They want you off balance because your progress threatens their comfort in dysfunction. Consider how this looks in everyday life. You decide to finally commit to a healthier lifestyle, and suddenly a friend is constantly tempting you with distractions or guilt-tripping you for not spending time with them. You make emotional progress, setting boundaries, healing from past pain, and a family member reappears, reminding you of everything that once broke you. Coincidence? Possibly, but more often than not, it's a pattern. Stoicism teaches us to observe patterns dispassionately. If someone consistently brings disruption into your life, it's not your job to fix them. It's your responsibility to protect your peace. The Stoic response is not aggression. It's not bitterness. It's clarity. You don't need to fight those who disturb your peace. You simply don't give them access to it. Like a fortress, your peace should have gates. Gates you control. Not everyone deserves entry. Ask yourself, does this person energize me or exhaust me? Do I feel more centered or more scattered after our interactions? Your answers will reveal who belongs in your inner circle. Peace is power, and those who keep showing up to disturb it don't want you to have power. Not because they want to hurt you directly, but because your peace exposes their own lack of it. Be vigilant. Guard your mind. As Epictetus advised, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's survival. 2. They know too much about your weaknesses. Have you ever been stunned by someone's ability to hit your deepest insecurities with uncanny precision, especially when you never explicitly shared those things? It can feel like being emotionally ambushed, like someone has been reading a secret playbook about your pain. That kind of insight into your vulnerabilities isn't always accidental. Sometimes it's a weapon. Humans are intuitive creatures. Some people are naturally empathetic, able to read body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice to get a sense of what others are feeling. But there's a difference between compassion and exploitation. Manipulative individuals pay close attention, not to help, but to control. They study your weaknesses like an opponent studies a rival team. When you falter, they take notes. When you hesitate, they listen. Over time, they assemble a quiet map of your soft spots and learn exactly how to wound you without lifting a finger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you surround yourself with people who feed your insecurities, who repeat your self-doubts back to you like truth, you begin to internalize them. That's why knowing yourself is the ultimate defense. If you're not rooted in your own identity, others will define it for you. A manipulator might not say, "You're weak." Instead, they'll ask, "Are you sure you can handle this?" Or, "You've always had trouble with that, haven't you?" It's subtle. It's dressed up as concern, but it's really an erosion of your confidence, bit by bit. This is emotional warfare in disguise. In Stoic practice, the key to overcoming this is radical self-honesty. You must know where your weaknesses lie, not so you can hide them, but so you can fortify them. If you've been hurt by abandonment, acknowledge it. If you fear failure, admit it to yourself. The more self-aware you become, the less control others have over you. When someone tries to use your insecurities against you, it becomes clear that they are not trying to love you. They are trying to dominate you. Ask yourself, who are the people in your life that seem to know just when to make you doubt yourself? Who brings up the past just when you're about to rise above it? These aren't allies, they're saboteurs. And the most dangerous ones smile when they strike. Knowing your weaknesses isn't a flaw, it's a form of power. When you own your story, no one can weaponize it against you. As Seneca advised, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Don't let someone else's words plant imaginary wounds. Learn to say, that may have been true once, but it doesn't define me now. 3. They disrupt your growth in disguise. Growth changes relationships. When you evolve, you challenge the comfort zones of those around you, especially those who benefit from your stagnation. That's why one of the most deceptive forms of sabotage comes dressed as concern. You'll hear it in phrases like, "I just don't want you to get hurt," or "Are you sure this is the right path for you?" They seem supportive, but there's always an undercurrent of doubt. The truth is, some people are uncomfortable with your growth because it forces them to look at their own lives, and they don't like what they see. Your progress is a mirror. It reflects their lack of ambition, discipline, or courage. Instead of stepping up, they try to pull you back down. This isn't always malicious. Often it's unconscious, but the effect is the same. Delayed dreams, second-guessing and stalled. Momentum. The Stoic path teaches us to live according to nature, our true nature. That means growth. That means change. As Epictetus put it, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. You don't need to justify your desire to improve. You don't need approval to become more disciplined, more focused, more aligned. Those who love you will support your evolution, even if it makes them uncomfortable. Watch for the person who only praises you when you're struggling, but grows distant when you succeed. Be wary of the one who always has a reason why your new venture might fail, yet never celebrates your courage to try. These are not the voices of reason. They are the voices of fear, masked as love. Growth isn't selfish. It's necessary, and sometimes to grow, you must prune. That means limiting contact with those who cannot handle your ascent. It doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you aware. Just as a gardener removes weeds to let the roots breathe, you must remove negative influences to thrive. Let your actions speak. Keep growing, keep rising, and remember, those who truly care about you won't fear your wings. They'll cheer for your flight. 4. You feel spiritually drained around them. Energy is real. You don't need to be a mystic or believe in supernatural forces to recognize the subtle yet powerful exchanges that occur between people. Every interaction leaves a mark. Some people leave you energized, uplifted, and centered, while others drain you like a leaky faucet that never stops dripping. You walk away from conversations with them feeling heavy, mentally foggy, emotionally unsettled, spiritually exhausted. This isn't merely an emotional response. It's often a sign that you're in the presence of someone who takes more than they give. The ancient Stoics emphasized the importance of preserving your inner tranquility. For them, maintaining ataraxia, a state of calm and unshakable peace, was central to a good life. If another person's presence consistently disrupts your internal harmony, they are infringing on that sacred space, and you must act accordingly. We often feel guilty for needing space. We rationalize the behavior of others. They're just having a bad day, we tell ourselves. They need me right now. While compassion has its place, there's a line where support turns into sacrifice, where your own well-being is offered up at the altar of someone else's chaos. These individuals are sometimes referred to as energy vampires. Though the term sounds dramatic, it accurately captures the experience of being around someone who thrives on emotional extraction. They might constantly complain, shift blame, stir drama, or play the victim. Even if they're not overtly malicious, their presence is a dark cloud. You might find yourself shrinking in their company, censoring your words, or simply feeling emotionally exhausted after even a short interaction. This isn't about judging people harshly, it's about recognizing patterns. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, warned against allowing others to pollute our minds with their disorder. In his meditations, he urged himself to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands, unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. But even the strongest rock erodes if constantly pounded without pause. That's why boundaries are essential. Recognize the signs of spiritual drainage. Do you dread certain calls or texts? Do you feel tense before seeing someone, even if you can't explain why? Do you leave interactions feeling worse than when you entered them? These are not coincidences. They are data points. They're your intuition waving red flags. Protecting your space does not mean you are unkind or selfish. It means you value your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Just as you wouldn't let someone steal your wallet, you shouldn't allow them to rob your peace of mind. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, taught that we cannot control external events, but we can control our responses to them. If a person repeatedly brings disorder into your life, you are well within your rights to limit their access to you. This may mean setting firmer boundaries. It may mean distancing yourself or even cutting ties. And yes, it may mean walking away entirely. Do not let guilt manipulate you into staying in toxic emotional proximity. The people who truly care for you will not leave you feeling empty. They will respect your boundaries. They will uplift you, and you, in turn, will be able to do the same for them. There is wisdom in solitude when the alternative is spiritual erosion. Sometimes the most stoic thing you can do is say, "No more," and walk away, not in anger, but in clarity. 5. You're under attack from all directions. There comes a time in your growth when it feels like the world is pushing back against you. The friction is everywhere. Arguments with friends, tension with family, whispers at work. It may start subtly, then escalate. Suddenly, you're surrounded by criticism, confusion, and opposition. You may start to question yourself, am I doing something wrong? But sometimes, the storm around you is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of transformation. Growth disrupts the status quo. When you begin to change, when you set boundaries, speak more honestly, pursue self-improvement, you inevitably affect those around you. The old version of you may have played certain roles in people's lives: the peacekeeper, the pushover, the fixer, the constant listener. When you stop fulfilling those roles, some people feel threatened. Not necessarily because they wish you harm, but because your evolution forces them to confront their own stagnation. It's easier for people to be comfortable when you stay the same. As you elevate your mindset, change your habits, or assert yourself more confidently, it unsettles the balance of relationships built on the old you. That's when the resistance begins. And when it comes from multiple directions, family, friends, co-workers, it can feel overwhelming. But it's not always about you as a person. It's often about what you now represent. Stoic philosopher Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. That's a powerful litmus test. Ask yourself, are the people in my life helping me grow, or are they holding me back? The answer may not always be pleasant, but it will be revealing. Growth reveals who is truly with you and who was only with the version of you that served their needs. When under attack from all sides, your first instinct might be to defend, argue, or retreat. But Stoicism teaches a more deliberate response. Pause and reflect. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that external criticism cannot hurt him unless he allows it. He wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. This doesn't mean that every criticism is invalid. Sometimes the feedback we receive, however unpleasant, contains valuable truth. But when the opposition feels more like sabotage than support, you must differentiate between constructive feedback and reactive resistance. Are people genuinely concerned about your well-being, or are they trying to pull you back into old patterns for their comfort? Often, those who criticize your growth are wrestling with their own limitations. Your confidence may highlight their insecurities. Your discipline may expose their avoidance. Your clarity may conflict with their confusion. That's not your fault, but it becomes your responsibility to manage how much of that energy you allow into your life. Do not let the noise drown your inner voice. If you are moving forward with intention, integrity, and authenticity, then keep going. The Stoic path was never one of popularity. It was about alignment, living according to your values regardless of external approval. The ancient Stoics walked this path in the face of political persecution, exile, and personal loss. You too can face temporary discomfort for lasting freedom. Create a sanctuary within yourself. Return to your values. Journal, meditate, walk, alone if you must. These are not signs of weakness, they are tools of clarity. In time, the storm will pass, and you will emerge not only stronger, but more certain of who truly belongs in your circle. Not everyone can come with you, and that's okay. Recognizing these 5 signs is the first step toward protecting your peace and honoring your growth. Don't ignore spiritual disruptions simply because they come from familiar faces. Don't let guilt tie you to people who drain you, and most importantly, don't dim your light to keep others comfortable. You are not selfish for setting boundaries. You are wise. So again, if you're committed to your path of inner peace, strength, and spiritual growth, hit that subscribe button and join this community of mindful warriors. Remember, you are the gatekeeper of your soul. Choose wisely who you let in. What's one boundary you need to reinforce this week?